Hey guys, so this is going to be a breakdown of the Revelations trailer. Bear in mind that if I don't point out something, it's probably because it's fairly obvious and I don't want to point out those things. So stick with me because this is going to be a fairly long one. So let's get right into this. So to start off, we have this nice little house from the cutscene, and the Shadow Man breaks through the fence. And as you'll see here, if we zoom in, the fence is not actually broken, so I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's just something they've forgotten about, but possibly might mean something or indicate the Shadow Man's maybe not already been there. This here may possibly seem like Nashton. If we actually zoom in to the background, it looks like we can see Juggernog there, and it does actually look a bit like Nashta and Toten there because of the ceiling and the sort of structure of the building. And so right here, this is the Undercroft area in Der Eisendrache. They're just going up the steps there, because normally you turn left on the steps there, but we've got this great big beautiful tower in the background in this case. This area seems quite important. It's in the trailer quite a lot. It seems to be sort of maybe a ritual area or something, but I'm not really entirely sure on this. This right here seems to be the bunkers, the trenches from Origins, and other characters are running through them. And coming up right here, this on the right seems to be a napalm zombie from Shangri-La, indicating that we have different types of zombie in this map. This right here seems to be Mob of the Dead, although I don't recognize the exact place where this is. This also here is Mob of the Dead, as you can see. This seems to be Origins again, and this right here, take note of this little truck here, because I'll mention this right at the end. It seems to be a Pack-a-Punch location that is not actually got the Pack-a-Punch in it, so it indicates that the Pack-a-Punch does actually move in this map. And in the background on the left, there is also something that may be sort of an indicator for areas being open or something, or maybe need power in certain areas. It's that little glowing sort of cross thing. But that's something to note. And right here, you can see on the top left, there is another one of those sort of energy beams things right here, and I've zoomed in on right here. So there may possibly be more than one, if that's what it is, and maybe you have to power them up. Like one of these things right here, this is what it might be. And maybe these things are the equivalent of the generators from Origins. Maybe you have to power them up to open up certain areas or power certain areas. So this frame flashes really quick, and on the left we can see maybe it's sort of a staff piece. And there's also one on the right. I'm going to be zooming in on them in a second, show you. So right here, maybe that's sort of a staff piece or related to the staffs, because we do think the original staffs are going to be in this, and they're not showing them in the trailer because they want to be a surprise. And on the right here, there is another piece which may be of note. So here the character seems to be shooting down the stairs from Shangri-La, and I do think these are the stairs from Shangri-La because they match the statues and everything. And right here, this seems to be possibly Zetsubo because of the colors are similar. And here this seems to be possibly a KN Wallby, so I think that is that for that club. I do think that is Zetsubo because of the colour scheme. And right here this seems to be another one of those energy things that absorbs the energy. And there is a zombie up there, so maybe this indicates that maybe these aren't entirely high up, or maybe you can get up right next to them because there's a zombie spawning in right next to one of them. This seems to be Zetsubo or Shangri-La, but I think it's Shangri-La because I don't actually recognise the statue on the left from Zetsubo. So that's it. And also take note of the fire type pit on the left. That may be a trap, or maybe you have to power it or something, more absorb souls. This here on the back seems to be an Elcon 9, so it indicates it's maybe near a starting area. And also on the left here we can see that there is actually a gobblegum machine right there. I think this is Veyrucht. I think it's the area that you open up where you are separated from the other people playing in the game, but I'm not entirely sure. It's just what it looks like to me. I may be wrong. And then coming up here, this was also Veyrucht, I think, and if not, it is probably Mob, but I am not entirely sure, but I do think it's one or the other, and I like you see the speed color there. This apparently is Veyrucht. This writing on the wall right here, this is Veyrucht. And once again here we have Mob, or I don't actually recognize the area, and right there is another gobblegum machine. And right here, this seems to be the starting area. As you can see in the background there, it looks to me like an RK5, so it's probably the starting area by that nice little house that we saw at the beginning. And as you can see here, the little Arnies are back, and this clip is also from the same area. As you can see, the RK5 is in the background right there. And on the right of this clip, we can actually see quick revive, so it does indicate it is a starting area, and also the box, so maybe it's the second room that you can open, one of the second rooms. And there's the little Arnie being badass as usual. Right here, Nikolai seems to be firing a Banshee, which is an energy shotgun. If you don't play multiplayer, that's what it is. It's a shotgun that shoots energy. And once again, it is shooting the Banshee again, so we know the Banshee is going to be in the map. And this right here is Kino, and we can actually see there are some stairs on the stage in the background, so it looks like we won't be able to train as effectively as there before. There's also a place for a box to be, and you can see the actual big cardboard cutouts of the Battle of Primus there. And I'll go over that in a second because there's a tiny bit more on that we can see in a second. And this here looks to be a Shiva wall buy, if not it's an M8, because it is very confusing. The wall buys in Black Ops 3, they all look the same, but that's what I think it is. So here is the Apothecan's Servant, which I'm sure you've already seen, but actually in the background, take note on the right of the tentacles. And this may be part of the Battle of Primus. The picture that is actually shown in Shadows of Evil by the Pack-a-Punch, and right here we can see all the characters fighting, and it seems to me like there are more than 4 characters there, so maybe they were more involved, and it also looks like we can see one of the staves right there. So more Apothecan's Servant stuff here, which we already know, and here seems to be a new monster. Now take note of the face really quick, and right here, and then you'll see this Apothecan here, and on his chest, when translated, it actually says cursed. But if you take note actually of the monster we just saw a second ago, then it does look a lot like they have the same face. So maybe those creatures are what actually are the actual Apothecans, but they've been cursed and turned evil. And right here we can see our boy Richthofen fighting one of the new Margwas that has the blue glow, which is different to the yellow glow of them from Shadows of Evil. However, this may just be the same as the zombies having different color eyes in different maps, so that's what I think it might be. Hopefully it's different though, because it'll make it more interesting. This area seems to hold a lot of importance because it's shown in the trailer many times, and it's got that sort of Apothecan ritual table in the middle, so I do think this is going to be one of the main areas where you have to do something Easter egg related or something, or maybe it'll be a good training area. Right here we can see our character using the shield. The shield does look slightly different, I think, although it is the rocket shield, but maybe it does look slightly different to Shadows. And he's boosting into the Der Eisendrache Undercroft, although this Undercroft does look fairly different to the Der Eisendrache one itself, because it seems to be cut off with a lot of debris covering certain parts. Our boy Richthofen again with the Ragnaroks, which I'm sure you already knew, and he's next to that Apothecan altar type thing again, so this thing does hold like a certain amount of significance. Maybe it's the tower that's behind it, or maybe it's this certain area, maybe you have to do something. And he is going to be running into the same place we just saw, just into the Undercroft of Der Eisendrache. But on the left right here, this seems to be some sort of map, possibly indicating certain areas of the whole map altogether. Maybe you have to power certain things up, because there are the green lights on it, and maybe the green lights indicate that you have done a certain thing in the areas, like maybe the generators in Origins. If you played that, you'll know what I mean. And if not, I'm sure you know what I mean anyway, because it's just going to be indicating which areas are maybe powered up or something. As we can see, the church is one of the outlines on them. And then Richthofen comes and gravity slams, which it doesn't really show anything of significance. But right here on the right, you can see something taking in energy, and maybe we have to protect this while it takes in energy, similar to the pods in Gorod Krovi, or maybe we have to power it with souls or something, kill zombies around it. And right here we can see on the top right there is a green glow. Now this maybe is just simple like a power up, but I don't think they'd show it like that if it was a power up. So maybe it's an item, maybe it's a part of a staff or a new specialist or something. That would be really cool if it was anything that was just not a simple power up. And right here we can see the new monster thing, and it's about to get shot, and you'll notice this actually when it's shot, it looks a lot like when the summoning key is activated, so that's really cool right there. Right here on the background, it looks like Zetsubo or Shangri-La, as we can see the color scheme. And this place, you'll see in the background that altar, that Apothecan altar type thing right here. It's actually got a bit of red in it, so maybe that's different to what we've already seen, or maybe you can just see all the way through to the red behind, but I think that maybe has some significance. And then it's just more shooting, and then right here, this is probably Zetsubo due to the color scheme being similar once again. And then, as you can see right here, this Great Big Tower is shooting different streams of energy to different places. So maybe we have to sort of activate the different places so it shoots all these streams of energy to different places. Now, take note of this part here. It seems to be very important and shows us a lot. If we study this image, we can actually learn quite a few things from it, and if it's what we think it is, then it's going to be really cool. So right here in this image, you can see down at the bottom, it seems to be some sort of portal thing that maybe teleports you up to these areas, and that area in the middle looks like Mob of the Dead to me, and then the top area seems to be from Origins, the excavation site right at the top where you go down into the map. That'd be really cool if that's what it is. And then coming up right here, you have the great big new monster. But this image, if also studied, can show us a few things. And remember right at the beginning when I said, look at that truck that I was going to mention later on. It actually has a pack-a-punch on here from a different angle. And also on the left, it looks like some debris that we can clear. And then obviously there's a great big Apothicon monster boss type thing in the middle. And yeah, here's the debris right here. And also that wall looks to be like a HVK to me. And then the huge Apothicon comes in and does that thing. I don't know whether if that's going to be an in-game attack type thing or if that's just to look cool for the trailer. But that's pretty much it. This took me a very, very long time to edit. And I also want to thank my friend Simon for supplying those annotated images right there, and also for pointing out a lot of these things that I didn't notice. I think he's done a really good job, so I'm going to link him in the description. If you did like this, be sure to leave a like. If you spotted anything that I didn't spot, then be sure to leave a comment below. And yeah, excited for this map, and be sure to subscribe for more stuff coming soon. So thanks for watching.